Breaking news, a car crashes into this Zebulon home. What police are investigating after the house went up in flames. Woman set on fire. The search is on for the man accused of breaking into a woman's home and setting her ablaze. What we know about this disturbing crime in Sampson County.
Temperatures are heating up. It feels more like summer than spring. I'll show you how hot it gets and how close we'll be to record highs.
Another surge. Gas prices are expected to rise as President Trump announces a new blockade at the Strait of Hormuz. What experts are saying about the sharp increase.
WRAL News at 8 starts in 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everyone. It is 8 o'clock. We're glad you're up with us as we tackle our Monday together. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Ken Smith, and tackle a very hot Monday together. Boy, it should be spring, but it doesn't feel like it. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
That's right. It's nice and comfortable out there this morning. We take a live look from our Jimmy V camera down Fayetteville Street. See people out there in their shorts and T-shirts. And you can see that, of course, temperatures are nice and mild. 63 is our current temperature. We have a southwest wind at 8 miles per hour, and that wind will continue to help to push the warm air into our region over the next several days. It's 63 in Southern Pines and Rocky Mount, 61 in Roxborough right now, and a nice afternoon warm up. It'll feel very much like it did yesterday. Yesterday was so pretty, mid-70s at lunchtime, and we'll see highs in the mid-80s. Temperatures will keep on climbing. We could end up with our first 90-degree day officially of the year at RDU a little later this week. I'll show you why it stays hot through the weekend coming up. Ken?
That situation is picking up on I-87, those southbound lanes coming in. You can see the heavy traffic right there. And that's as a result of that construction we told you about last week, the complete NC 540 project. So you'll see some delays between Hodge Road and Smithfield Road until about April 30th. So keep that in mind and plan accordingly. Right now, you're looking at an 8-minute delay coming in out of Nightdale. So just give yourself some extra time until about April 30th, the rest of this month for that matter. We're picking up some delays coming in out of Apex and US 1 North. We're seeing some congestion around Highway 55 Williams Road, so you're looking at a 7-minute delay. Our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 9-minute delay coming in down on US 1, but that's the usual congestion that we see on US 1 this time of the morning. Things are really getting jammed up on Highway 98 for our friends in Wake Forest using Highway 98 to get to Durham. Right now, you're looking at a 10-minute delay, but all other major routes heading in to Durham right now, short of I-885, those northbound lanes, I'm seeing some heavy congestion there. So keep that in mind. You might want to get off on Davis Drive if you want to avoid the congestion that we're seeing on 885 right now. You're getting ready to head into the Cartoonist and on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking news in Zebulon. Firefighters are at the scene of a house fire on West Franklin Street. That's just off of North Arundel Avenue. Kelsey Coffey is there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Kelsey, a car had crashed into it, and within the last few minutes, you just saw crews pull that car out of the house.
Yes, Renee, the tow truck just arrived to the scene within the past 15 minutes or so. We'll go ahead and give you a look now at the extensive damage to this home that's on West Franklin Street in Zebulon. You can see how there's most of the damage there on at the front of the house and on the roof. But we'll go ahead and show you some video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker so you can get a look at some of the immediate aftermath. Firefighters say that they got the call around 3 a.m. that a car crashed into this home and caught fire. You can see all of that damage there. We also found out from Zebulon police that a person is now in custody in connection to this incident. Firefighters say that 5 people were inside the home at the time, but they were able to get out safely along with their 2 pets. So we'll be sure to keep you updated as we search for more information about what led up to that crash. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Zebulon.
Right now, deputies in Franklin County have a man in custody after an early morning search. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker at US 401 near the Wake County line. We saw about a dozen sheriff's vehicles as well as canine units searching in the wooded area. There was also a red car just off the road. We're working to learn who that man is that's in custody and why police were searching for him in the first place.
Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh was shut down for about 90 minutes this morning after a crash. This happened around 1 in the morning near Oak Forest Drive. Police say a pickup truck rear-ended a semi-truck and flipped onto its side. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there in the aftermath. The driver of the pickup truck was taken to the hospital. Police say their injuries do not appear to be serious. It is not clear if anyone will be charged.
A man accused of setting a woman on fire after breaking into her Sampson County home remains on the loose this morning. The Sampson County Sheriff's Office says Frankie Faircloth is facing several charges. The incident happened at a home on Pine Street in Roseboro on Saturday night. Deputies say they found Courtney Richner with burns over 2/3 of her body. She told deputies Faircloth broke into her home and doused her with gasoline before setting her on fire. She says he left on a gray and red bicycle. He's believed to be homeless. Anyone with information on where he could be, you're encouraged to call the Sampson County Sheriff's Office.
The United States military says it will begin blockading Iranian ports later this morning. The blockade comes after the U.S. and Iran failed to reach a deal to end the war over the weekend. So starting at 10 this morning, President Donald Trump says the U.S. Navy will stop ships from entering or leaving the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command says it will allow ships traveling to non-Iranian ports in the region. About 20% of the world's oil and natural gas passes through the strait.
Well, with that in mind, Renee, we're keeping an eye on gas prices today. The newest numbers from AAA show the national average is around $4.13. In North Carolina, the average dropped about a cent yesterday to $3.89. And in Raleigh specifically, the gallon of gas on average, $3.91. Well, the latest developments in the Middle East could lead to prices climbing even higher. WRAL's Elizabeth Holmes live in Raleigh this morning. And Elizabeth, another spike could happen soon.
We are already starting to see gas prices that are higher than the average that you mentioned here in Raleigh. Right now, at the corner of Hillsborough and Gorman, it's about $3.96 a gallon. And that's because of the blockade that was announced at the Strait of Hormuz. And the price of oil just shot up after that announcement. We know overnight the price of U.S. crude oil rose by about 8% to about $104 a barrel. Now, experts say that this blockade is going to continue to choke the global economy off from about 20 million barrels that would normally go through the strait every single day. So again, prices are going to continue to remain high. Now, I spoke with an economist with the Keenan Institute at UNC. She said that even though there is uncertainty about what's going on at the strait, the United States does have a bit of a cushion since we do produce our own oil.
I don't think that this is going to be on par with a 1970s oil crisis, for instance. So I don't think we're going to see the rationing, the price controls in the same way. And part of that is because we are more insulated from that price shock than some of the other countries that don't produce their own oil.
Now, typically, gas prices do tend to rise in spring and summer with more people traveling. Gas Buddy predicts if the Strait of Hormuz does not open anytime soon, we could see historically high gas prices anywhere between $5 and $6 a gallon. In Raleigh, I'm Elizabeth Holmes, WRAL News.
Of course, to find the best gas prices near you, check out the WRAL Fuel Tracker. Just go to WRAL.com and search fuel.
New this morning, Pope Leo is pushing back against President Trump's criticism of his message of peace. In a social media post yesterday, the president said Pope Leo is soft on crime, weak on nuclear weapons, and terrible for foreign policy. Trump also said that the Pope should stop catering to the radical left. The Pope, in speaking this morning, said, quote, "To put my message on the same plane as what the president has attempted to do here is not understanding what the message of the gospel is." President Trump defended his post when speaking to reporters last night.
We don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person.
Pope Leo has also called for a ceasefire in Lebanon as Israel continues its war against Hezbollah.
This morning, we're working to learn when a man charged after 6 people were stabbed in downtown Raleigh will be in court. Raleigh police say this happened during a large fight on Fayetteville Street just after midnight Saturday. Everyone who was hurt is expected to recover, though. The suspect, 35-year-old Frank Lelich, was also hospitalized.
Dropping out, Congressman Eric Swalwell is ending his bid for California governor after allegations of sexual assault. His response as people are calling for his resignation.
Also preparing for the midterms, Democrats in North Carolina are feeling optimistic about the November elections, the issues they plan to target on the campaign trail.
And today, temperatures will feel fairly pleasant, but boy, by the time we get to the middle of the week, it's going to feel like summer. I'll show you why this pattern also keeps us dry and for how long coming up. 8:13, look how pretty it is as we take a look over Dix Park. This is the Gibson Play Plaza, and at this early hour, there are already some people out here. I'll tell you, with summer-like weather on the way later this week, you might see people out here earlier and earlier. I don't know when they turn on the water features, but with the kind of temperatures we're going to see later this week, hopefully it is later this week. 59 in Roanoke Rapids, 63 in Raleigh, 62 in Goldsboro right now, so it feels nice and comfortable. A great lunch hour to spend outside. Our temperatures will be in the mid-70s. And then exercising today, not bad, definitely on the warm side, middle of the afternoon, but we don't have much humidity in the atmosphere. That definitely helps out. If you want it to be a little bit cooler, it'll be closer to 80 degrees around sunset. We do have a string of 90-degree days in our forecast, and we're going to talk about how frequently we see those in April with meteorologist Chris Michaels coming up in just a few minutes. Ken?
Happening now, Elizabeth, we're picking up some heavy congestion on that southern loop of the Beltline. Is I-40 near the Lake Wheeler Road entrance ramp. Gorman Street is right around the bend right there. That's the exit-only lane, but you can see the bumper traffic that we have this morning. And as jammed up as that looks, you're looking at just a 5-minute delay, but you probably want to give yourself some extra time. The southern loop of the Beltline is part of your morning commute. If you're navigating I-40 westbound through Wade Avenue, delay-free at this hour.
Ken. A developing story this morning. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell has suspended his campaign for California governor following allegations of sexual misconduct. Swalwell made the announcement last night on social media. He also apologized for past mistakes in judgment, but went on to say that the allegations against him are false. The San Francisco Chronicle reported last week that one of his former staffers accused him of sexually assaulting her twice while she was too intoxicated to consent. Since then, several others have also come forward accusing him of sexual misconduct. Lawmakers on both sides of the political aisle, along with more than 50 former Swalwell staffers, have called on him to resign from Congress.
But shifting gears to North Carolina, Democrats are growing increasingly optimistic about their prospects in the midterm elections. Last year, Democrats were worried they would win only 3 or 4 North Carolina's congressional seats. Well, now one group thinks Democrats could win 5 or even 6. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee says high gas prices and the war with Iran are proving unpopular, a development that could help Democrats in North Carolina. The group is supporting incumbent Democrat Don Davis in the 1st Congressional District, but it's also encouraging donors to support Democratic challengers to Republican incumbents Chuck Edwards and Greg Murphy. Our NC Capitol team spoke to political analysts about those races, see what they had to say about the Democrats' odds of winning at WRAL.com.
3 people are recovering this morning after a crash over the weekend in Wake Forest. This happened on Durham Road yesterday morning. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there as crews worked to remove the crashed car from the woods. That road was closed for about 3 hours. We are working to learn what caused the crash and the extent of the injuries. In eastern North Carolina, Kinston police are investigating the shooting of a 15-year-old. Officers investigated a robbery near St. John Village early yesterday morning when they heard gunshots nearby. Police said just moments later they saw a man running in all black. He was detained. They later found the teen who had been shot in the chest in one of the nearby apartments. The teenager was rushed to the hospital. We're working to learn how that person is doing.
Well, getting an autopsy report in North Carolina after someone dies can take months. Despite recent funding for the medical examiner's office, prosecutors say the backlog of autopsies is slowing down justice. A Garner widow is waiting on an autopsy report to file for benefits with Veterans Affairs. Her husband was killed by Johnston County Sheriff's deputies following a mental health crisis back in January. She is one of many families who are being told the medical examiner's office is weeks and sometimes months behind in processing autopsy reports.
They cannot give me any date or time that it will be cleared so they can get it. Only thing they tell me is that they backlogged.
Coming up tonight at 6 on WRAL, we dive into the problem that still exists despite millions in recent funding to the medical examiner's office. And we speak to prosecutors who say the backlog is delaying justice as well. That's tonight at 6 on WRAL.
A group of Triangle teens is getting some world-class coaching before taking the stage on one of jazz's biggest stages. The sound of jazz filled the room at NC State's Price Music Center yesterday. Emmy Award-winning composer and drummer Jerome Jennings worked with the Triangle Youth Jazz Ensemble. It was one of just 20 high school jazz bands in the world invited to compete at jazz at Lincoln Center's Essentially Ellington Festival in New York later this month. It has been one of the warmest springs on record, and we're about to climb the ranks. Meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us what makes this early season heat wave so rare in today's Ask the Meteorologist. Chris.
Yeah, Renee, I mean, looking at 90-degree days in April, as you look back at the record since 1887, there have only been 75 April days in which we've hit 90. So that's 1.8% of days sampled. Just goes to show you a little glimpse of how rare it is. But right now we're forecasting 90 degrees or higher Wednesday through Saturday. So that's a 4-day stretch. Last time we saw that in the month of April was in 1960. The Super Bowl wasn't a thing. Dwight Eisenhower was president. Yeah, definitely a long time ago. Now, when you look at the map from that heat wave in 1960, you see two different features, one of which is high pressure over the east and a storm system over the Rockies. Fast forward to the present day and you see the exact same thing. That matters because beneath high pressure, you get sinking air, which warms things up. And then east of a storm system in the Rockies, you get a southwest breeze that warms things up. So you're looking at identical patterns that could result in identical results this week. And that, Elizabeth, being the heat. At least it's comfortable outside this morning.
You know, it is a fairly long stretch, though, especially for this time of year. We could see easily 4 days in a row with highs in the 90s, and some of those are going to be awfully close to record highs. We take a look at what's happening outside right now. Garner Tower showing some cloud cover. There's definitely some blue sky showing through. There's that southwesterly wind that Chris was talking about, 8 miles per hour right now, and that is definitely pushing the warmth in. 63 degrees right now in the Triangle, and there it is. There's our high pressure system. With that high pressure system and that sinking air, it also means that we're very dry. So we're warm, we're dry, and again, near record highs Tuesday through Saturday. Here's a look at what's happening right now. Satellite and radar over here in Tennessee, all the way up through Virginia, the Ohio Valley. There's rain, and typically that rain will move through here. But that high pressure system is so strong that it's just going to hold all of that back. We're going to have several cold fronts this week, try to make a run at us. And finally, one of those is going to be able to bust through that high and make it through our area on Sunday. That'll drop our temperatures somewhat, and it will bring us a very small chance for rain. Definitely not drought busting by any means. This is a look at our rainfall forecast for the next 7 days. To our west, looking at anywhere from 1 to 2, maybe even in some spots 3 inches of rain, and we are just dry as a bone here from the Carolinas down to the south. Rain chances for the next 5-6 days are sitting right at 0. Now, flip side of that, it makes it really nice to head outside. So the Durham Bulls have a homestand starting tomorrow. This is an 11 o'clock game on Tuesday. Otherwise, game time temperatures are likely to be in the 80s. We stay dry at least for the next 8 to 14 days with precipitation near or below normal. And we have that heat to go along with it. 91 Wednesday and Thursday, 94 on Saturday, and our chance for rain Sunday is 30%. But what we'll see will barely measure in the rain gauges. Ken?
Well, this is happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, that southern loop of the Beltline really jammed up this morning. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. You can see the bumper traffic this morning. If that's part of your morning commute, definitely you want to give yourself some extra time this morning. You're looking at a 6-minute delay. Stamped up as that looks, I think it might be longer than that, but just a 6-minute delay from US 1, from the 440 interchange in Southeast Raleigh all the way over to US 1. No delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline this morning, coming in on I-40 westbound this morning. So I'm going to take it to the east of Raleigh and give you a live look at I-87 and Smithville Road. Things have gotten a lot better this morning. It was really jammed up a little while ago, but you can see it's clear sailing those southbound lanes coming in. You're just looking at a 2-minute delay if you're coming in from Nightdale, and just a 7-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest. All the other routes into the Raleigh-Wake County area relatively delay-free at this hour.
Thanks, Ken. Keeping electronics clean. 5 on your side shares how you can have your devices working like new without having to replace them.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It is 8:26. Good morning, everyone. A beautiful start to our Monday. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's going to be a warm one today.
It is. Our temperatures are going to feel like yesterday in the mid-80s. It's a nice start out there this morning. Just some high thin cloud cover. This is a look, of course, at Dix Park, and you can see the temperature is 63 in Raleigh and Wilson, 64 in Goldsboro. Exercise forecast feeling especially nice this morning up through lunchtime. We're in the mid-70s, mid-80s for the afternoon high, and around 7 o'clock we're back down to 80 degrees. We are dry today, of course, Ken.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, that southern loop of the Beltline. Boy, it's still a jam session. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. You can see the bumper traffic this morning. And right now you're looking at a 6-minute delay. I adjust to 5 minutes, so getting a little better. Depending on where you're headed this morning, I checked that northern loop of the Beltline. Traffic seems to be flowing a lot smoother on that northern loop, so you might want to check that out. No delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline. If you're navigating I-40 westbound through Wade Avenue, it's delay-free at this hour.
A car crashed into a home and caught fire in Zebulon after 3 o'clock this morning. Firefighters say the homeowners were inside at the time. They were able to make it out safely. A person of interest is in custody. We are working to get more information from police about details of the crash. Deputies in Franklin County have a man in custody after an early morning search. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker at US 401 near the Wake County line around 4 this morning. We are working to learn why deputies were searching for that man. Next on Fox 50, new developments in the Middle East have gas prices going even higher. And coming up on Today, the story behind the viral SNL Pop-Tarts.
Breaking news, a car crashes into this Zebulon home. What police are investigating after the house went up in flames. Woman set on fire. The search is on for the man accused of breaking into a woman's home and setting her ablaze. What we know about this disturbing crime in Sampson County.
Temperatures are heating up. It feels more like summer than spring. I'll show you how hot it gets and how close we'll be to record highs.
Another surge. Gas prices are expected to rise as President Trump announces a new blockade at the Strait of Hormuz. What experts are saying about the sharp increase.
Oh, we got gas prices going up. The heat is on. We'll get to all that in this half hour. Thanks for being with us. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Renee Chu. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Yeah, good to have you with us on this Monday. And I don't mind the warmth when it comes without the humidity. And that's what we're going to get today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a comfortable forecast for today and then wait for it tomorrow and Wednesday.
Yeah, it really starts to heat up by the middle of the week, but it's not bad out there right now. This is a look at our Garner Tower. So this is eastern Wake County looking toward Garner. Definitely some cloud cover out there, but some holes in the clouds, some thin spots in the clouds. We have a southwest wind at 8 miles per hour, and that's pushing the warmth into our area. So we're sitting at 63 right now. It's 62 in Fayetteville, 63 Rocky Mount, 63 in Southern Pines and in Roxborough. So we're mostly low to mid 60s heading out the door. We'll be in the mid 70s at lunchtime, and highs will be in the mid 80s, very similar to yesterday. Feeling pretty comfortable once we get closer to sunset. And then by Wednesday, we're seeing highs in the 90s. I'll show you how close we get to record highs coming up, Ken.
Well, Elizabeth, boy, we're keeping an eye on this southern loop of the Beltline. We're talking about I-40 near the Lake Wheeler Road interchange. That's the exit only to Gorman Street. You can see the bumper traffic this morning on that southern loop of the Beltline, which covers the I-40, 440 interchange there in Southeast Raleigh, all the way over to US 1. Right now, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay, which really nothing that's going to make you late, but it does look a little jammed up there. The northern loop of the Beltline, similarly, we're seeing a little bit of a jam session going on. I-440 near the New Bern Avenue interchange or the entrance ramp. So right now you're looking at more bumper-to-bumper traffic. You're looking also at a 5-minute delay, but the bulk of the congestion is between the I-87 440 interchange all the way to Capitol Boulevard. And then after that, it's really clear sailing all the way over to I-40 this morning. So let's widen out the view, give you a look at some other routes heading into the Raleigh-Wake County area. We're picking up some delays on Highway 55, Williams Road around the Apex area of US 1. You're looking at a 7-minute delay. 6-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning on US 1, and just a 1-minute delay on I-87. Things have definitely improved on I-87 in the last hour or so. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. We are following breaking news. Police say they have a person in custody after a car crashed into a home in Zebulon and caught on fire. Kelsey Coffey is live along West Franklin Street in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And Kelsey, within the last 45 minutes, crews removed that car from the home.
Yes, Renee, and now that it's light out, you can really take a look at all of the damage that's left behind there. So the car crashed into the front of the home and caught fire, according to fire officials. So we'll go ahead and show you some video of the immediate aftermath from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Firefighters say they got the call about the situation around 3 o'clock this morning, and when they arrived, that car was already on fire. They say that 5 people were inside at the time, and two cats were also inside as well, but they were able to make it out safely. Officers do say that a person is in custody right now, so we're working to get more updates on that. And we're also asking questions about just what led up to this crash in general. So we'll be sure to let you know as we find out any new information. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Zebulon.
Deputies in Franklin County have a man in custody after an early morning search. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Track around 4 this morning at US 401 near the Wake County line. About 20 minutes later, we saw deputies come out of the woods with the man. We're working to learn more about what happened here.
Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh was shut down for about 90 minutes this morning after a crash. This all happened around 1 a.m. near Oak Forest Drive. Raleigh police say a pickup truck rear-ended a semi-truck and flipped onto its side. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there in the aftermath. The driver of the pickup truck was taken to the hospital. Police say their injuries do not appear to be serious. It is not clear if anyone will be charged.
This morning, we're working to learn when a man charged up to 6 people were stabbed in downtown Raleigh will be in court. Raleigh police say this all happened during a large fight on Fayetteville Street just after midnight Saturday. Everyone who was hurt, is expected to recover. Now, the suspect, 35-year-old Frank Lilich, is hospitalized as well. We're following some breaking news in the war on Iran. Starting at 10 o'clock this morning, U.S. Central Command says the U.S. military will block all ships in and out of the Iranian ports.
President Donald Trump also says the U.S. Navy will stop ships from passing through the Strait of Hormuz, effective immediately. 21 hours of ceasefire talks with Iran ended over the weekend without an agreement to end the war. Vice President J.D. Vance said an agreement could not be reached over Iran's nuclear program. Iran accused the U.S. of making unreasonable demands. President Trump defended his social media post from last week that said a whole civilization will die in Iran. He says it brought the regime to the negotiating table. The Pope called those comments unacceptable. The president called the Pope, quote, terrible for foreign policy.
We don't like a Pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a Pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo.
The Pope has urged the president to end the war on Iran. He lamented in his Easter message last week that the world is becoming indifferent to violence. He has also criticized the Trump administration's immigration policies.
Well, new gas prices this morning show from AAA show Raleigh that it's down 1 cent in Raleigh at $3.91. Gas is also down 1 cent in Durham to $3.95. In Fayetteville, it's down 3 cents to $3.86. Now, according to Gas Buddy, the national average gas price was steady over the last week, but it is expected to spike after the announcement of that blockade we just mentioned. WRAL's Elizabeth Holmes live in Raleigh this morning. Elizabeth, what prices are you seeing there right now?
Well, we are already seeing prices that are higher than the average that you just mentioned in Raleigh. Here at the corner of Gorman and Hillsborough Street in Raleigh, $3.96 a gallon. And of course, this comes after gas prices actually dipped over the weekend following peace talks, including the U.S., Iran, and Pakistan. But of course, those peace talks failed. And now that this new blockade was announced, we are not going to see any relief anytime soon. So here's what happened overnight. U.S. crude oil soared by about 8% to more than $104 a barrel. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy said that gas prices will climb this week, and that will be followed by diesel prices later on.
The longer it remains essentially closed, the longer the world is being choked off of 20 million barrels of oil that are needed every day. So that's why the Strait is such a significant piece and probably the largest thing that's being talked about today.
Now, during this time of year, we normally start to see gas prices rise because more people are traveling. Gas Buddy predicts that if the Strait of Hormuz does not open anytime soon, we could see gas prices hit historic highs, anywhere from $5 to $6 a gallon. In Raleigh, I'm Elizabeth Holmes, WRAL News.
With all this in mind, to find the best gas prices near you, check out the WRAL Fuel Tracker. Just go to WRAL.com and search fuel. Well, coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll hear from how rising fuel prices is impacting how volunteer firefighters operate and the personal cost that comes with it.
A man who deputies say broke into a woman's home in Sampson County and set her on fire remains on the loose this morning. The Sampson County Sheriff's Office says Frankie Faircloth is facing several charges. Now, this happened at a home on Pine Street in Roseboro on Saturday night. Deputies say they found Courtney Witchker with burns over 2/3 of her body. She told deputies Faircloth broke in and doused her in gasoline and then set her on fire. She says he left on a gray and red bicycle. He's believed to be homeless. Anyone with information on where he is should call the Sampson County Sheriff's Office.
Today, the town of Wendell will host a public hearing on the topic of data centers. There aren't any current proposals in town, but the Board of Commissioners just said
8:44, nice morning out there. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds. This is a look at Dix Park over the Gibson Play Plaza, which should be a nice place to be this afternoon. It'll feel like yesterday with highs in the mid-80s. Right now it's 62 in Fayetteville and 63 in Southern Pines, 63 at Wilson, Rocky Mount, Durham, and 65 in Goldsboro. Not bad at lunchtime. 10 o'clock around 70. By 2 o'clock we're at 82. So that should still feel fairly comfortable. And then if you're taking your kids to practice after school, the temperature at 4 o'clock will be the hottest, right at 84, and then temperatures drop by 7 o'clock to around 80 degrees. Of course, midweek, we're looking at highs in the 90s. We'll talk about how many days we'll see temperatures that hot coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, we're staying on top of that southern loop of the Beltline. You can see what we're talking about here. There's I-40 near the Lake Wheel Road entrance ramp. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic this morning, and that's what we see this time of the morning. You're looking at a 4-minute delay. And a reminder, that southern loop of the Beltline is the I-40, 440 interchange there in Southeast Raleigh over to US 1 in Cary. So only a 4-minute delay right now. No delays whatsoever if you're coming in from Gardner-Johnson County between Highway 36 and the Beltline.
Thanks, Ken. Is your phone, TV, or computer acting a little glitchy these days? Now, before you rush to replace any of your gadgets, 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rowe explains how you might be able to fix it yourself with a little tech spring cleaning.
Start with the device you likely use the most often, your phone. Just be sure to use the right tools.
Things to avoid: condensed air, sharp tools like paper clips or tweezers, things that are safe to use, softer tools like cotton swabs or makeup brushes. Those should still do a good job without potentially damaging the delicate parts of your device.
That includes the screen. Whether it's your laptop, monitor, or TV, it's important to keep it clean. But there are a few things to remember.
Do not use a paper towel. Those are harsh and they could scratch or otherwise damage the screen. 2, don't use harsh cleaners like Windex or anything. They could also damage the screen, particularly the coating that a lot of laptops have nowadays.
Instead, a simple microfiber cloth is best. For dirtier screens, you can use wipes made for cleaning glasses. And when using your laptop or PC, try to avoid something many of us are guilty of: eating.
Depending upon the laptop, if you get crumbs underneath the keys, it could make it, literally impossible to type. Your only shot, really, short of like disassembling the device, is a can of compressed air to kind of like blow in there and get any of the crumbs out of there.
Before you start cleaning any device, power it down and unplug it. And check the owner's manual for any specific cleaning instructions. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
As tax season draws to a close, experts say Americans could get more money back this year. Tax experts say taxpayers may get up to 11% more on their 2026 refunds. This comes from changes made with President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. Some of the new provisions include no tax on tips or overtime hours, also deductions for people over 65 years old. Experts say this may make taxes harder to file this year, and checks could be delayed.
Due to the changes in the IRS, including a reduction of the workforce by 25%, we're going to see a little bit slower of processing of those returns. They're also phasing out paper checks, which is going to make a dramatic difference to some people for how they get their tax returns.
Once checks do arrive, consumer spending is likely to see a boost within 30 days.
Today, Wake County commissioners are meeting to talk strategy and expansion. The commissioners will look at phase 3 of the plan to expand detention centers. They will also talk about a strategic initiative to address homelessness in the county. This afternoon's meeting begins at 2.
Federal aviation leaders believe video gamers could become the new generation of air traffic controllers. The U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration unveiling a new campaign targeting game enthusiasts. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the campaign's focus is aimed at those who have many of the hard skills needed to be successful. The agency says some transferable skills include multitasking, spatial awareness, and problem solving. Applications open Friday for the FAA's annual hiring window.
Rising fuel costs are making it more difficult for some first responders to do their job. Volunteer firefighters are an important part of keeping communities safe, especially in more rural areas. Right now, crews are feeling the personal cost of rising gas prices because of the war on Iran. In some cases, they receive small amounts of government funding to help out, but that money is usually for more than just fuel. Now, if costs keep rising, some volunteers say they may not be able to afford to do their job.
The cost to get here is going to affect somebody, as families first, got to keep their home going. So, we respect that in their job. So as long as they can keep those things taken care of, keep coming to us, that'd be ideal.
Some volunteers could see relief closer to the end of the year because the government provides mileage reimbursements. For now, they are hoping to keep up with the cost.
Well, tick season is off to an early and potentially dangerous start this year. The active season may be a direct result of the winter season, but as the weather warms, experts warn it's important to be mindful of your health. The ticks are much smaller and more difficult to spot. Also, data shows around 40% of ticks tested recently carry Lyme disease, up from the typical average. Experts say prevention is the best line of defense.
Check yourself, your animals, and your children along the hairlines, in the armpits, anywhere where your joints are is where they like to hang out, kind of warm. If you can get the ticks before they bite.
Lyme disease can be very debilitating, but change could soon be on the horizon. Pfizer is hopeful about the potential vaccine they have in the works.
8:50 on your Monday morning, and we have a pretty start to our work week. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. It's going to be a warm one, Elizabeth, but this is just the beginning.
It is, boy. Temperatures are going to continue to climb. By Wednesday, we're in the 90s. Right now, we're taking a look across Wake County toward Garner. And there's a good bit of cloud cover out there. There's some thin spots in the clouds, some holes in the clouds, and we'll call it partly cloudy, especially this afternoon. 63 is our temperature. Our wind is southwest at 8 miles per hour, and that southwesterly flow always warms things up for us, and that's what's happening. 62 Holly Springs, 64 in Garner, 63 in Wake Forest right now, and we'll climb into the mid-80s this afternoon, which is exactly where we were yesterday. But the continued southwesterly flow will keep bumping up those temperatures, and we'll likely see 88 for tomorrow and then 91 by Wednesday. If you take a look at this bar graph on the left in orange, this is the forecast high, and then to the right in red is the record high. And so we're not too close to it Tuesday. We could tie it on Wednesday at 91. We're a degree or so off Thursday or Friday. Saturday also just 1 degree off as we climb to 94, and the record is 95. That is hot. We have a burn ban in place because we haven't seen our normal rain in months and months, and we do have severe drought, and this is for the entire state, this burn ban, until further notice. That doesn't mean until the weekend. It doesn't mean until next Wednesday. It means until we get some significant rainfall, which is still not really anywhere in the forecast. 0 chance of rain from now through Friday, really Saturday too. As long as that high is sitting there over us or just off the coast, all these fronts that come toward us will end up falling apart. Now, because they'll stall to the west, they'll have some significant rainfall along the Mississippi Valley and up toward the Great Lakes, but it's just not going to make it here because this high is going to act as a blocker for that. It also, as it moves clockwise, helps to push a lot of warmth in. So it feels like summer for us as we get into the 90s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But we keep it in the comfy zone. We don't make it up into steamy and tropical, which is where we get in the summer. So it's not going to feel quite as bad if you can find a shady spot, but it is going to be hot, especially Saturday. Sunday, our next weak front comes through with a very small chance of a shower or thunderstorm.
Before we go to break, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers, and we'll get another check on weather and traffic next.